Beware of the triangle. I'm your host Youssef, and these are 10 scary Bermuda Triangle stories told by survivors. Make sure you subscribe and ring that bell to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Anyways, let's fly over. Number 10, the Ellen Austin. According to legend, a sailing ship, the Ellen Austin, found a derelict vessel and placed a crew to sail the vessel to port. Two versions of what happened to the vessel are: the vessel was either lost in a storm or was found again without a crew. Lawrence David Couch, author of The Bermuda Triangle Mystery Solved, found no mention in 1880 or 1881 newspapers of this alleged incident. The Ellen Austin did exist. A check from Lloyd's of London records proved the existence of Maida, built in 1854, and that in 1880, Maida was renamed Ellen Austin. There are no casualty listings for this vessel, or any vessel at that time. That would suggest a large number of missing men were placed on board a derelict that later disappeared. Although one website includes the alleged derelict vessel incident, it does find that Rupert Gould talked about the legend on radio in the 1930s. Number 9, the USS PROTEUS. USS PROTEUS AC-9 lost with all 58 persons on board in heavy seas, having departed St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands with a cargo of bauxite on the 23rd of November. The following month, her sister ship, USS Nereus, was lost with all 61 persons on board, having also departed St. Thomas with a cargo of bauxite on the 10th of December. According to research by Rear Admiral George Van Ders, USN, who was familiar with this type of ship from their service in the USN, the acidic coal cargo would seriously erode the longitudinal support beams, making these aging and poorly constructed colliers extremely vulnerable to breaking up in heavy seas. Number 8, Witchcraft. December 22nd, Miami hotel owner and yachtsman Dan Burrick set out his cabin cruiser Witchcraft with a priest named Patrick Horgan. The ship was taken 1 mile off the Miami coastline so that Burrick and Horgan could view the Christmas lights visible from the shore. That night, Burrick radioed a distress call to the Coast Guard, informing them that the boat's propeller had stuck something underwater, and that the vessel would need to be towed in. The Coast Guard requested that he send up a flare in roughly 20 minutes so that the boat could be more easily located. The official who received the call reportedly later noted that Burrick did not seem too concerned about the Witchcraft, a boat that Burrick had fitted with a special flotation device in its hull. When the Coast Guard arrived at the location from which Burrick called, he, Horgan, and the Witchcraft were nowhere to be found. Over the following days, a search was conducted over hundreds of square miles of ocean, but the boat and its passengers were never found. Number 7, Flight 19. Flight 19 was the designation of a group of 5 General Motors TBM Avenger torpedo bombers that disappeared over the Bermuda Triangle on December 5, 1945, after losing contact during a United States Navy overwater navigation training flight from Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale, Florida. All 14 airmen on the flight were lost, as well as all 13 crew members of a Martin PBM Mariner flying boat that subsequently launched from Naval Air Station Banana River to search for Flight 19. A report by Navy investigators concluded that flight leader Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor mistook small islands offshore for the Florida Keys after his compasses stopped working, resulting in the flight heading over open sea and away from land. Number 6, C-54A. The Douglas C-54 Skymaster is a 4-engine transport aircraft used by the United States Army Air Forces in WW II and the Korean conflict. Like the Douglas C-47 Skytrain derived from the DC-3, the C-54 Skymaster was derived from a civilian airliner, the Douglas DC-4. Besides transport of cargo, the C-54 also carried presidents, prime ministers, and military staff. On the 28th of March 1964, a C-54A disappeared over the Pacific on an executive passenger flight from Honolulu International Airport, Hawaii to Los Angeles International Airport, California. The pilot reported a fire in the second engine, which might make it necessary to ditch. Nothing more was heard from the aircraft, nor was any trace of it found despite an extensive search. 3 crew and 6 passengers were lost in the accident. Number 5. Star Ariel. Star Ariel was an Avro two-door Mark IVB passenger aircraft owned and operated by British South American Airways, or BSAA, which disappeared without a trace over the Atlantic Ocean while on a flight between Bermuda and Kingston, Jamaica on the 17th of January 1949. The loss of the aircraft, along with that of BSAA Avro two-door Star Tiger in January 1948, remains unsolved to this day, with the resulting speculation helping to develop the Bermuda Triangle legend. Number 4. The USS Pickering. USS Pickering was a topsail schooner in the United States Revenue Cutter Service, and then the United States Navy during the quasi-war with France. She was named for Timothy Pickering, then the Secretary of State. Pickering departed from Boston on the 10th of June 1800, ordered to join Commodore Thomas Truxton's squadron on the Guadalupe station in the West Indies. She sailed from Newcastle, Delaware on the 20th of August and was never heard from again. She is presumed to have been lost with all hands in a gale in September, but this was never proven. This storm is also thought to have sunk USS Insurgent, which likewise vanished without a trace. The exact cause of the cutter's disappearance remains a mystery. Number 3. The USS Wasp. On the 12th of September 1814, the Wasp encountered three brothers, a brig, and scuttled her. On 14th of September 1814, she sank the brig Bacchus. On the 21st of September 1814, an 8-gun brig Atalanta ran afoul of Wasp, and she too suffered the ignominy of capture. Deeming Atalanta too valuable to destroy, Blakely placed her under the command of Midshipman David Geisinger and sent her to the United States. She entered Savannah, Georgia safely on the 4th of November 1814. After Wasp and Atalanta parted company, on the 9th of October 1814, she spoke the Swedish brig Adonis, bound from Rio de Janeiro to Falmouth, England, about 3 weeks after the Atalanta capture. Wasp reported that she was headed for the Caribbean. Wasp was never seen again. Number 2. The USS Cyclops. The ship put to sea from Rio de Janeiro on the 16th of February 1918 and entered Salvador on the 20th of February. 2 days later, she departed from Baltimore, Maryland with no stop scheduled, carrying the manganese ore. The ship was thought to be overloaded when she left Brazil, as her maximum capacity was 8,000 long tons, or 8,100 tons. Before leaving port, Commander Worley had submitted a report that the starboard engine had a cracked cylinder and was not operative. This report was confirmed by a survey board, which recommended, however, that the ship be returned to the United States. Cyclops then set out for Baltimore on the 4th of March, and was rumored to have been sighted on the 9th of March by the molasses tanker Amolco near Virginia, but this was denied by Amolco's captain. In any event, Cyclops never arrived in Baltimore and no wreckage of the ship has ever been found. Number 1. The Connemara 4. A pleasure yacht was found adrift in the Atlantic south of Bermuda on September 26, 1955. It is usually stated in the stories that the crew vanished while the yacht survived being at sea during 3 hurricanes. The 1955 Atlantic hurricane season shows Hurricane Ione passing nearby between 14th and 18th of September, with Bermuda being affected by winds of almost gale force. In his second book on the Bermuda Triangle, Weiner quoted from a letter he had received from Mr. J.E. Challenor of Barbados. On the morning of September 22nd, Connemara 4 was lying on a heavy mooring in the open roadstead of Carlisle Bay. Because of the approaching hurricane, the owner strengthened the mooring ropes and put out 2 additional anchors. There was little else he could do, as the exposed mooring was the only available anchorage. In Carlisle Bay, the sea in the wake of the Hurricane Janet was awe-inspiring and dangerous. The owner of Connemara 4 observed that she had disappeared. An investigation revealed that she had dragged her moorings and gone to sea. Thanks for watching. Those were 10 scary Bermuda Triangle stories told by survivors. Leave a like and comment if you think we missed anything, and we hope you have a scary day.